Welcome to Learn How to Learn English.
One of the most powerful businessmen on earth, a man who built a company worth hundreds of billions of dollars, once could not get a job at his local KFC. He failed his university entrance exam. Not once, not twice. He failed it twice. And the reason for so many of his early failures? His English. His weak, broken, beginner English. But that same man used English to change his entire life. Today, we tell his story. And today, we give you a 30-day plan using a tool that did not even exist when he was learning to do exactly what he did. Let's go.
Welcome to Learn How to Learn English. I am Emma.
And I am Alex. And today's episode is special. Very special. We are talking about speaking English in 30 days using ChatGPT as your practice partner. And we are pairing it with one of the most inspiring true stories in the business world, the story of Jack Ma.
The founder of Alibaba, one of the richest men in the world, and someone whose entire life changed because of English.
Before we dive in, hit like, hit subscribe, and share this with someone who needs motivation today. Okay, let's begin with the story.
Alex, tell us about young Jack Ma. Where does this story even begin?
It begins in a small city in China, Hangzhou, many, many years ago. A young boy, not from a wealthy family, not from a powerful family, a completely ordinary boy. And as a teenager, he became fascinated with one thing: the English language.
But why English? In a small Chinese city? That seems unusual for that time.
It is well documented that this fascination began after some foreign tourists visited the area near where he lived. And instead of being shy, instead of hiding, this young boy did something remarkable. Every single morning, for years, he is widely reported to have ridden his bicycle to a local hotel where foreign tourists often stayed. And he offered them something simple: a free tour of the city, in exchange for practicing English with them.
Wait, he offered free tours just to practice English?
Yes. Think about that. He did not wait for a perfect classroom. He did not wait for an expensive course. He did not wait until his English was good enough to practice. He went out, into the real world, and found real people to have real conversations with. For years, rain or shine, early morning, every single day.
Wait, he offered free tours just to practice English?
Yes, think about that. He did not wait for a perfect classroom. He did not wait for an expensive course. He did not wait until his English was good enough to practice. He went out, into the real world, and found real people to have real conversations with. For years, rain or shine, early morning, every single day.
That is incredible dedication. For years, you said?
For years, Emma. Not weeks, not months, years of consistent practice. And here is the most important part of this whole story. He was not naturally talented at English. He has spoken publicly many times about struggling with grammar, struggling with exams, failing tests multiple times. He was not the gifted student. He was the determined one.
Everyone, please absorb that sentence. He was not the gifted one. He was the determined one. And that distinction, that is everything. Talent is rare. Determination, that is available to every single person listening right now.
And here is where the story gets even more powerful. Because Jack Ma's path was not smooth. At all.
Tell us.
It is publicly documented that he failed his university entrance exams, not once, but multiple times before finally being accepted into a teacher's college, not even his first choice of path.
Multiple failures before any success at all?
Multiple. And it continued after university too. He applied for many, many jobs. and he has spoken openly about being rejected again and again. There is a widely shared story that he even applied to work at a local KFC restaurant when it opened in his city, along with 24 other applicants. Every other applicant accepted. Jack Ma, the only one rejected.
The only one rejected? Out of all of them?
The only one. Yes. Imagine that feeling. Standing there, watching everyone else get accepted, and you are the one who gets told no.
That must have been devastating.
It is reported that he faced rejection after rejection for years. Job applications, university attempts, even attempts to get into prestigious schools like Harvard, reportedly multiple times, all unsuccessful.
Alex, if I am being honest, hearing this makes me feel something very strongly. Because so many people listening to us right now, they have felt exactly this. Rejection, failure, feeling like they are the only one who cannot get it right.
Exactly. And that is precisely why this story matters so much for English learners specifically. Because learning a language, it is full of small failures. Wrong words, forgotten grammar, embarrassing mistakes in front of others. Every single person who has ever become fluent in a new language, they failed along the way, repeatedly, just like Jack Ma. The difference between people who become fluent and people who give up is not the absence of failure. It is what they do after the failure.
And what did Jack Ma do after each failure?
He kept going. That is the entire secret. Not a clever trick, not a hidden shortcut. He simply refused to stop.
So, he eventually became a teacher?
Yes, after completing his studies, he worked as an English teacher for several years, earning a modest salary. But that English, the language he had practiced so hard for on his bicycle year after year, it began opening doors.
What kind of doors?
It is widely reported that in the mid-1990s, he had an opportunity to travel to the United States for translation work. And it was during this trip that he encountered the internet for what is commonly described as one of the first times.
This is the moment, isn't it? The moment everything changes?
This is the moment. A man who once could not get hired at a fast food restaurant, a man who failed exam after exam, saw something the rest of his community had not yet seen. He saw the potential of the internet to change business, to change China, to change the world.
And without his English, he would never have had that trip, never have had that exposure, never have seen that opportunity.
Exactly, Emma. His English, the thing he practiced for free on a bicycle with strangers for years with no guarantee it would ever lead anywhere, became the very bridge that connected him to the opportunity of his lifetime.
That gives me chills, honestly.
He went on to found a company, Alibaba, which grew to become one of the largest e-commerce and technology companies in the entire world. A global business empire, built in part on the foundation of a language he was not born speaking, a language he had to fight for, practice for, earn sentence by sentence.
And that, everyone, is why we are telling you this story as proof. Proof that the struggle you feel right now, learning English, making mistakes, feeling slow, feeling behind, that struggle does not disqualify you from an extraordinary future. It might actually be building the exact foundation your future is going to stand on.
And here is something else worth sitting with for a moment. Jack Ma was not secretly fluent the whole time, hiding it out of humility. By his own public account, his English remained imperfect for years, accented, sometimes grammatically incorrect. And yet, that imperfect English was still powerful enough to build relationships, secure opportunities, and eventually communicate a vision that investors believed in enough to fund.
That distinction matters so much because so many learners believe they need perfect English before they can do anything meaningful with it, before they can get a better job, before they can make a foreign friend, before they can travel confidently. But Jack Ma's story tells us something different.
It tells us that usable English, clear enough, confident enough, practiced enough to communicate real ideas, that is what changes lives. Not flawless English, not accent-free English, usable English. And usable English is available to every single person listening to this episode right now, often much sooner than they believe.
I think that reframes everything. We are not chasing perfection today. We are chasing usable, confident, real communication.
Exactly the goal of our 30-day plan later in this episode. Not perfect English by day 30, usable, confident, real English by day 30. Let's pull out the real lessons here, because this story is not just entertaining, it is instructional.
Let's go through them.
Lesson 1. Practice in the real world, not just in books. Jack Ma did not master English sitting alone with a textbook. He went out. He found real humans. He had real, sometimes awkward, sometimes embarrassing conversations. And that, real conversation, is where fluency actually grows.
Lesson 2. Consistency beats intensity. He did not study for 12 hours one single day and then quit. He showed up every single morning for years. Small, consistent effort, repeated over a long time, beats short bursts of motivation every single time.
Lesson 3. Rejection is not the end of the story. It is part of the story. Every failed exam, every rejected job application, every no. None of it stopped his eventual success. It was simply part of the path that led there.
Lesson 4. You don't need to be the most talented person in the room. You need to be the most determined. Talent opens a door sometimes, but determination builds the entire house.
And lesson 5, the most important one for today's episode. The tools you use matter less than the consistency with which you use them. Jack Ma had no ChatGPT, no apps, no AI conversation partner. He had a bicycle and some willing tourists. That is all. You, right now, have access to a free, patient, endlessly available AI conversation partner, something he could only have dreamed of. Imagine what is possible for you with this tool and his level of consistency.
Which brings us to exactly what we promised at the start of this episode. Your 30-day spoken English plan using ChatGPT.
Why ChatGPT works as a speaking partner. Okay, let's talk about the tool itself. Why does ChatGPT work so well for practicing spoken English?
Reason 1. It is available 24 hours a day. Jack Ma had to wait for tourists to arrive at a hotel. You don't have to wait for anyone. 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon. Whenever you have 5 minutes, your practice partner is ready.
Reason 2. It never judges you. No embarrassment, no impatience, no one watching you struggle to find the right word. You can make the same mistake 20 times in a row, and it will calmly help you every single time.
Reason 3. It can correct you instantly. You can type or speak a sentence and ask, "Is this correct? How can I say this better?" And you get an immediate, clear explanation.
Reason 4. It can simulate real conversations. You can ask it to role play, a job interview, a shopping conversation, meeting a new friend, ordering food at a restaurant. Any real-life situation, practice safely before you face it in real life.
That safe space, that is so valuable because confidence is not built by avoiding mistakes. Confidence is built by making mistakes somewhere safe, over and over, until they stop feeling dangerous.
And once that fear shrinks down, once you have made the same mistake 20 times with ChatGPT and survived it every single time, something shifts. You start to believe, deep down, that a mistake in front of a real person is also survivable, because you have already practiced surviving it again and again in a safe space first.
This is genuinely one of the most powerful free resources available to any English learner in the history of language learning. Something this accessible, this patient, this available has simply never existed before.
Okay, let's build your actual plan. 30 days, clear daily structure, simple enough that anyone, any beginner, can follow it.
Let's break it into 4 weeks.
Days 1 through 7, your goal is simple. Build daily habit. Every day, open ChatGPT and have one short conversation, even 5 minutes.
Ask it something like, "Please have a simple English conversation with me about my day. Correct my mistakes gently and explain them simply." And then, just talk about your morning, your food, your family, anything simple.
The goal this week is not perfection. The goal is just showing up. Like Jack Ma on his bicycle. You are not trying to be fluent on day 1. You are just trying to arrive every single day.
Let's make it concrete. Day 1, talk about your morning routine. Day 2, talk about your favorite food. Day 3, talk about your family. Day 4, talk about your weekend plans. Day 5, talk about your city or town. Day 6, talk about a happy memory. Day 7, talk about something you are looking forward to.
And here is a small but important tip for this first week. Do not worry about long sentences. 3 or 4 short sentences about your day is completely enough. I woke up at 7. I ate breakfast. I went to work. That is a complete, valid practice session. You are building the habit first. The complexity comes later.
By day 7, you should notice something small but important. Speaking no longer feels like such a big, scary event. It starts to feel normal, like a small daily habit, just like brushing your teeth, something you simply do without needing motivation to convince yourself first.
Days 8 through 14. Now we add vocabulary growth. Ask ChatGPT, let's talk about a topic. Please use some new vocabulary and explain any word I don't know.
Pick a new topic each day. Monday, talk about travel. Tuesday, talk about food. Wednesday, talk about your job or studies. Thursday, talk about hobbies. Each day, a slightly different world of vocabulary opens up.
Friday, talk about technology and how it has changed your life. Saturday, talk about a film or show you enjoyed recently. Sunday, talk about your hopes for the coming week. Each topic, a new collection of words waiting to be discovered through genuine curiosity, not forced memorization.
And here is an important tip. After each conversation, ask, "Can you give me 5 new words from our conversation today with simple example sentences?" Write those 5 words down. By the end of week 2, you will have around 35 new, practical, real vocabulary words, learned through actual conversation, not boring memorization.
And one more at the start of each new day's conversation. Try using one word you learned the day before. This small act of repetition, using yesterday's word today, is what moves a word from something I saw once into something I actually own.
35 words from natural conversation. That is so much more powerful than memorizing a list you will probably forget. And by reusing them daily, they stop being new vocabulary and start becoming simply your vocabulary.
Days 15 through 21. Now we get serious about real-life practice. This week, role play every single day.
Ask ChatGPT something like, "Please role-play a conversation with me as if I am ordering food at a restaurant. Respond naturally and correct me gently after each thing I say."
Day 15, restaurant conversation. Day 16, job interview practice. Day 17, meeting a new friend. Day 18, asking for directions. Day 19, shopping for clothes. Day 20, talking to a doctor. Day 21, a phone call conversation.
This week is crucial because this is exactly what Jack Ma was doing on his bicycle, practicing real situations with real pressure before he needed those skills in a truly real moment. You are building that same readiness, just using a different tool.
By day 21, you should feel a noticeable shift. Real-life English situations will start to feel familiar, not scary, familiar, because you have already lived them in practice.
Days 22 through 30, the final week. And this week, the goal shifts from learning to flowing.
Ask ChatGPT to have longer, more natural conversations without stopping for correction every single sentence. Let's just have a natural conversation for 10 minutes. Please only correct me at the very end with a short summary.
This trains something very important: speaking without constant interruption. Real conversations don't pause every 5 seconds for correction. This week, you practice flowing through small mistakes, the same way real speakers do.
Day 25 through 27. Try having one conversation entirely about your goals, your dreams, your future. Practice describing not just facts, but your hopes, your ambitions.
This is powerful because describing your dreams in English is also a way of believing in them a little more. Just like Jack Ma had to describe his vision for the internet in English to people who could fund his dream.
And finally, day 30, your final day. Have one long, natural conversation about anything you want. And at the end, ask ChatGPT, compare how I sound now to a typical beginner. What has improved?
And read that response carefully, because 30 days ago, you could not have had that conversation at all. 30 days of small, consistent effort, just like a boy on a bicycle years ago in a small Chinese city. And look how far you have come.
Now, Emma, I want to say something very important about this plan.
Please.
This plan will not work if you only do it some days. It will not work if you do an intense 3-hour session on day 1 and then quit on day 2. The entire power of this plan comes from consistency, from small, daily, unglamorous repetition.
Just like Jack Ma's bicycle rides. Not one heroic, dramatic day. Years of ordinary, repeated mornings.
Exactly. So here is the real secret behind this entire episode. It is not really about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is just a tool, a very good tool, but still just a tool. The real secret, the real engine, is your decision to show up every day for 30 days. Even on the days you don't feel like it. Even on the days it feels slow. Even on the days you make embarrassing mistakes.
That is exactly what made the difference for Jack Ma, too. Not the bicycle, not even the tourists, really. His decision, every single morning, to keep showing up.
And that decision to show up is completely free. It costs nothing. It requires no special talent. It requires no money, no expensive course, no perfect circumstances. It simply requires you choosing every day for 30 days to practice. And if a boy with a bicycle and no internet and no AI and no app could build a global empire partly through the English he built that way, imagine, truly imagine, what is possible for you with so much more available right in your pocket right now.
Alex, let's be honest about something. Somewhere around day 10 or day 17 or day 23, many people will feel like quitting. What do we say to that person?
I want to say this directly. If you feel like quitting on any day of this 30-day journey, please remember Jack Ma standing outside that KFC, the only person rejected out of 24 applicants.
He did not know, in that moment, that he would one day build a company worth more than entire countries' economies. He just knew, in that moment, that he had been rejected. Again.
And he kept going anyway. Not because he knew the future. He did not know the future. He kept going because giving up felt worse than continuing. He kept going because somewhere inside him, he believed his effort mattered, even when the results were not visible yet.
And that is exactly the mindset we want every person listening to borrow today. You do not need to know that this 30-day plan will make you fluent. You simply need to believe that the effort is worth making, one day at a time.
And here is something beautiful to hold on to. Every single fluent English speaker in the world today, every single one, was once a complete beginner who almost gave up at least once. The only difference between them and someone who never becomes fluent is that they did not stop on the day they wanted to.
So if today, or any day during your 30 days, you feel like stopping, please don't. Not because we are telling you to, but because the version of you on day 30, the version who can speak, who can connect, who can express their dreams in English, that version is depending on you not giving up today.
I also want to say something about a specific kind of quitting, the quiet kind. Not the dramatic kind where you announce, "I am stopping English forever." The quiet kind, where you simply stop opening the app. Day 14 becomes day 20 without a single conversation. And you tell yourself, "I'll start again next week." And next week becomes next month.
That quiet quitting, it is so much more common than the dramatic kind, and so much easier to fall into without even noticing.
Which is exactly why this plan asks for something small enough to never have an excuse. 5 minutes, that is all. Not 5 minutes when you feel motivated. 5 minutes, period. On the days you feel inspired, that inspiration is a bonus. On the days you feel nothing at all, the 5 minutes is still possible. And 5 minutes, repeated for 30 days without exception, will always outperform 90 minutes done occasionally whenever motivation happens to visit.
5 minutes is a promise you can keep even on your worst day. And keeping small promises to yourself again and again, that is precisely how self-trust is built, brick by brick. The same way confidence in English is built, sentence by sentence.
And if you do miss a day, and you probably will at some point because you are human, please do not let one missed day become an excuse to abandon the entire 30 days. Jack Ma was rejected by that KFC, and he did not decide that one rejection meant he should never apply for anything again. One missed day is simply one missed day. Day 15 does not need a perfect day 14 to still be valuable. Just begin again. That is all. Begin again as many times as you need to.
Begin again as many times as you need to. I think that might be the kindest, most realistic advice anyone learning a new skill could ever receive.
Okay, let's give you some specific 2020 phrases to use directly with ChatGPT to make your daily practice.
Phrase 1. Please speak to me like I am a beginner and correct my mistakes gently. This sets the right tone immediately.
Phrase 2. Can you explain that in simpler words? Never be afraid to ask this. Asking for simpler words is not weakness. It is smart learning.
Phrase 3. Let's role-play a conversation about situation. Use this every single day in week 3.
Phrase 4. What are 3 ways I could say this differently? This builds flexibility, showing you multiple natural ways to express one idea.
Phrase 5. Please ask me follow-up questions to keep the conversation going. This trains you to handle real back-and-forth conversation, not just one-line answers.
And phrase 6 for week 4. Please don't correct me during the conversation. Just give me a summary at the end. This builds true conversational flow.
6 phrases. Use them daily. They turn ChatGPT from a simple tool into a genuine, structured speaking practice partner.
Emma, before we finish today, I want to zoom out for a moment. Why does this story, Jack Ma's story, matter so deeply for someone learning English in their bedroom with their phone, maybe feeling unsure if any of this will really work?
I think it matters because it removes every excuse we tell ourselves. I don't have the right resources. Jack Ma had a bicycle and strangers at a hotel. I'm not talented enough. Jack Ma failed exam after exam. I don't have time. Jack Ma was working, yet still found time every single morning.
I'm too old to start. I started too late. Everyone else is better than me. Every excuse, and Jack Ma's story quietly, patiently answers each one. Not by pretending those struggles don't exist, but by proving they don't have to be the end of your story.
And the tool you have right now, free, instant, patient AI conversation, that is something he never had. You are not even starting from the same difficulty he faced. You are starting from a position of greater advantage.
So the only real question left is not, can this work? The story proves it can work, even under much harder conditions. The only real question is, will you show up? For 30 days, one conversation at a time.
That is the whole episode right there in one sentence. Will you show up?
And I want to leave everyone with one more thought before we close. Jack Ma's story is remarkable, but it is not unique in the way that matters most. It is not a story about one special, chosen person who was always going to succeed no matter what. It is a story about an ordinary process, showing up, failing, continuing, showing up again, applied with extraordinary patience over a very long time.
Both futures are equally possible. Both are sitting right there, 30 days away. The only difference between them is what you choose to do today, and tomorrow, and the day after that.
We cannot make that choice for you. Jack Ma could not make it for himself either, in some larger, guaranteed sense. He simply chose, every single morning, to ride that bicycle one more time. That is all any of us can do. Choose, one more time, to show up. Okay, let's bring today's episode together one final time.
We learned the story of Jack Ma, a boy who practiced English for free for years on a bicycle. A man who failed again and again, exams, jobs, even a simple restaurant job application, and who built one of the largest companies on earth, in part through the English he refused to stop practicing.
We learned why ChatGPT works so well as a speaking partner, always available, never judging, endlessly patient.
And we built your full 30-day plan. Week 1, daily habit. Week 2, vocabulary through conversation. Week 3, real-life role play. Week 4, natural flowing fluency.
And most importantly, we learned that the tool matters far less than your consistency, that rejection is not the end of your story, and that the only real requirement for transformation is simply showing up every day for 30 days.
Question of the day. Write in the comments, what is one excuse you are ready to let go of today? Tell us, in English. We read every single comment, and we believe in every person who writes one.
Please subscribe to Mr. Azan English School. Like this video if it motivated you today, and share it with someone who needs to hear that their story is not over yet.
We will be back very soon with more lessons, more stories, and more reasons to believe in your own journey.
30 days. One bicycle's worth of determination, but with a far more powerful tool in your pocket. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, Emma.
Goodbye, Alex. Goodbye, beautiful people. Go show up for yourself today.